I was born and raised by a Marine. He never told me to cut my hair or clean my room, but he rode me hard and he made me strong. He made me see what I could become. I am me, my father's son.
Okay, brand new air cleaner. That thing should start now. Maybe. All right, the truck story. Where do I begin? So, it all started, I'm 15 years old, and my dad and I are doing a job for a guy. We're putting in a driveway, and we had to build it up with bringing dirt in. So we brought the dirt in and we pushed the dirt out. So we did all that stuff. We had the guy into a driveway. Then it came time to move out. So we had loaded up the Caterpillar. It was a Caterpillar HD4, an old timer, Traxcavator bucket on it, Cat D4. Loaded up on my dad's homemade lowboy and the truck. The truck's very important. It was a 1947 Ford truck with a flathead Merc in it, and it was tuned up. My dad hot rodded it up, and he put a 3-speed transmission behind the standard 4-speed to make it have a little more power to pull this Caterpillar. So I had everything loaded up. I had all the loading planks loaded. I had all the grease guns, everything ready to go. And I walk over to my dad and I said, "Hey, I'm ready to go. Everything's loaded up." He says to me, looks me right in the eye, he says, "Take the truck down the road and go get started. Get over there to where we got to go. We're going to start that next job." And I said, "Dad, I don't have a driver's license yet. I'm going to work on getting my permit, but I don't have a driver's license." And he looks at me, and that Marine just looked at me. I said, "Get in a damn truck and go." And as reluctant as I was, hey, and that Marine said something, you did it. He says, "Look, I'm going to push this dirt in behind you, get it all straightened up. Now I'll follow you over. I'll be right behind you with the backhoe." I said, "Okay, but, and it was country roads. We're not going on a main highway." So here I go. Now this is a 47 Ford truck. And if anybody's ever driven those old trucks, you have to double clutch everything. It had a 2-speed rear end. There was a lot of stuff to drive in it. So there I am, 15 years old. I get in. I'm driving down the road with this Caterpillar on the back. And these little mirrors. You didn't even have the big mirrors you have on the big trucks. As I'm going, and I'm just about ready to turn off this one little road, and I think I'd have it made. And I said, "Okay, I'm going to just turn off, get on this little road, and I'll have it made." And just as I looked up ahead, coming around the corner, was the police chief. Man, my heart started racing. I go, "Oh my goodness." And little side note, the police chief and I did have a couple little run-ins with the dirt bikes. Me and my buddies would ride from our track to their track to his track, and we'd kind of ride on the road a little bit. And back then, oh my goodness, you couldn't do that. So I made this turn, and I'm going up the hill, and I'm thinking maybe he didn't see who was driving. Start going up this little hill, and I have to double clutch, and I'm getting up the hill, and I look in the mirror, and there's the lights. So shut the truck down, turn everything off, and I'm thinking he's going to throw the book at me because for once he's got me. And he walks over, and he was ex-military too, WW2, ex-military. I think he was in the Navy. Tough guy. And he comes over and he looks at me. I'm sitting in that truck because we didn't have AC. Windows are down. He looks me in the eye and says, first thing out of his mouth, "Where's your father at?" And I said, "He's back on the other job." And I was almost stuttering. And just before he started to say something again to me, here comes my dad around the corner with the backhoe. And here he comes around the corner. My dad was a pretty tough guy, but this police chief giving him a 1-2. So I watched him. He says, this police chief looks in the window at me and he says, "Do you know where you're going?" I said, "Yes, sir, I do." He says, "Okay, you go there with this thing, and I never want to see you behind the wheel of this truck until you get your driver's license. You hear me?" And I said, "Yes, sir, I hear you." I went on my way. But as I looked in that mirror, and it was a tiny mirror, but it was full of excitement. because for once I saw that father of mine, that Marine, getting the 1-2. That police chief was giving him the 1-2. But it wasn't that big a deal. I get to the site and I stop the truck, get out, everything's cool. My dad comes around the corner, we get to work, and we start working on the second job. But you know, there's a story to this that I didn't realize until later on in life. That at the time I thought, wow, I'm a 15-year-old kid. My dad, this Marine, is really riding me hard. And, you know, this is, sometimes it gets unbearable. You know, you just, always constantly pushing. But when I think about it, wow, what great respect I have for this police chief, which is long gone, and my father, of course, which is long gone. Because there I am, a 15-year-old kid behind the wheel of a dump truck that's modified and hauling not just a bale of hay, I'm hauling a 8.5-ton Cat piece of equipment. Wow. The respect they must have had for me. That police chief didn't go to me and say, hey, get the heck out of that truck. Where's your dad? No, he said, you know where you're going? You get there and that's it. He had faith in me to know, hey, this 15-year-old kid knows what he's doing. I've seen him work before. This truck is no big deal for him. Wow. He was a military guy in the Navy. He knew stuff. He was around wild situations. He knew how he could judge and understand what people could do. And he had faith in me. He didn't stop me. And my father, the Marine, he was in some really bad situations in the war. He didn't stop me either. He's the one that started me getting that truck and go. He didn't think once that, hey, this is my 15-year-old son, I better be careful with him. No, that's my 15-year-old boy over there, and he can drive that truck, so get moving. So this is the story about this story. Is that when we look at things and we look at people pushing you, if someone's pushing you to do something, sometimes it isn't that they want you to feel pain or suffering or whatever, or have a hard time, or, have a bad go at it. It's that they have respect, they have understanding, and you can handle it. Like that police chief and my father. They had faith in me to know that, hey, the kid knows what he's doing. So that's how I learned how to drive a truck. The hard way.